everyone, and welcome to the Windsor Wednesday Show. Today is hashtag UWinday, the Windsor's unofficial birthday celebration. We kicked off our celebration on Saturday at the Lancer football home opener. We had over 100 students come out to our community cleanup on Monday, and today we released an exclusive UWinday bookstore coupon code on our social media channels. We have given away over 100 free swag bags and cupcakes to students who have pre-registered, and tonight we will wrap up our festivities with one of our favorite events, our virtual epic bingo at 7 p.m. We have over $1,000 in prizes to be won at tonight's event. So don't want to miss out on this. And anyone who still wants to register, you still have time and can do so by visiting uwindsor.ca-student experience-proud. All right, so we have some very hashtag UWinProud guests on today's show. So without further ado, let's meet our panelists. Our first guest is Mia Dicioccio. Mia is a fourth-year concurrent education and drama student minoring in English at the University of Windsor. Hailing from Leamington, Ontario, this triplet started out as a Welcome Week volunteer in second year and climbed the ranks to become this year's Welcome Week events coordinator. Mia has been acting, singing, dancing, and playing piano since she was a little girl, and has been involved in local productions with the Windsor Light Theatre and the University of Windsor Players. Under the Student Experience Office, Mia is a new member of the new B.IDE Institute, working as an equity specialist, making our campus safe, diverse, and equal for all. Hello, Mia.
Hi,
our
everyone.
second guest is none other than Noah Gascon. Noah established Windsor Vax Finders, an organization that helps thousands of Windsor Essex residents find COVID-19 vaccine appointments through social media channels. He created the first in Ontario eligibility calculator that helped Windsor Essex residents determine when they could get their COVID-19 vaccine. Noah is also a first-year concurrent political science student and an active citizen with the Métis Nation of Ontario. He recently worked on the re-election campaign of Windsor-Tecumseh MP Eric Kuchmerchik. Welcome, Noah. And our final and last guest is Rebecca Haddad. Rebecca is a fifth-year undergraduate student at the University of Windsor. She is pursuing a double major in political science and French studies, along with a minor in English language and literature. She has been part of the UWindsor chapter of HerCampus magazine since her third year, and she started off as a writer on social media, contributing for the club, but has also taken on roles of editor and co-president. Additionally, she has become a writer for The Lance, the UWindsor student newspaper. Welcome to all of our guests, and thank you so much for joining us today. So I'm going to start off my Q&A with Mia. What made you want to choose the concurrent education and drama program at the University of Windsor?
Well, I'd always been interested in drama, and teaching was my secure job. I'm going to say it like that. In the arts, I love the arts. I support everyone that is in the arts, but I was looking for the balance between a secure future as well as continuing my passion for the arts. So the DREAD program at the University of Windsor, which is drama and education, is very, very special. And being a concurrent education student in drama, you get to experience that DREAD program as well. So that was kind of the perfect balance for me and why I chose this particular concurrent education program instead of others across Ontario.
And just what kind of courses do you take with doing a concurrent ed program like this? Are there any balances with any other maybe specialties you also have to focus on?
So as a concurrent education student, you choose a major and a minor, or your first teachable and your second teachable. So I had the privilege of taking English as my second teachable, and through the university and the many Indigenous literature courses that I was able to take, I actually got my specialist. So it's awesome to say that now that is something I have towards teaching. I have Indigenous literature, but also my arts. So you're able to find other interests as you begin your journey in the program, which I absolutely love.
That's incredible. And just another person here that's also a student at UWindsor and a great member of our community. We have Noah on here as well. Noah, when I was reading your bio, and it's incredible because I was somebody who actually used this program myself, but can you tell us a little bit about the story behind WeVaxFinders or Windsor Vax Finders, and what are some milestones that you reached with the Windsor community during this difficult time?
Absolutely, and thank you so much for having me, Susie, again today. So essentially, for Windsor Vax Finders, this all started in essentially May, when the vaccine rollout was really picking up steam in Ontario and also Windsor, Essex. And I think we all remember at that point in time, it was like the Hunger Games trying to find a vaccine appointment. And personally, I decided to start this organization based off personal experience with trying to get an appointment in April for my first dose, which was incredibly difficult and lots of emails, lots of phone calls, etc. Um, and I was able to find out how to get an appointment through the proper channels and the proper sources. But I realized that to the average person, it probably isn't as easy and it's probably more difficult. And that for the time you wait to get a vaccine appointment, you could get infected in that time, or worse, you could get severely ill during that time and end up in the hospital, especially people who are older. So I thought I created an organization that helped people find vaccine appointments by something that we do every day. We all go on social media pretty much every day. So if you're on social media, why not look for vaccines while you're doing it? So I put together a team of 30 volunteers. One of the 10 of the volunteers would contact pharmacies in Windsor, Essex every day to find locations of available vaccine appointments. Another 10 would check the health unit site every day for appointments available at certain mass vaccination sites. And the other 10 would take that information from the two teams and post on our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter pages. And the organization grew beyond what I would even think was possible, having over 2,000 followers on Instagram, and around our peak was around 3,000 followers, and then also having about 2,000 on each of the separate social media pages of Facebook and Twitter. And really, we were able to culminate over 40,000 visits to our website during the 4 months after it started, and also have approximately 1 million impressions over all three of our social media pages. So it was a huge success to service. And at the end of the day, we feel that by the amount of visits to our websites, we were able to save lives by getting people their appointments earlier. So I was honored to be able to partake in that process and help the community in any way I can.
Wow, that's incredible. And like I said, that was a service that I used, my family used, and I know so many other people were able to use it as well. And Noah, you don't really actually have a background in the sciences or in health or anything like that. So were there any maybe challenges that occurred when maybe taking those steps to create something that almost the entire Windsor Essex community ended up using?
And that's a great question too. A lot of people come up to me and say, "No, why aren't you going into the health and sciences at Windsor? Why aren't you majoring in that?" Well, at the end of the day, I'm a community-minded person, and I feel that any way we can help our community, whether it be vaccines, whether it be another area that's totally non-related to science, I feel that's the best route to go down at the end of the day. I want to help my community in any way I can. And at that time, we were in a crisis during the third wave, and our hospitals were filling up and people were getting infected left and right. And at that time, I felt the best way to help our community was to make sure everybody could have access to COVID-19 vaccine appointments and basically not have to go through that bureaucratic red tape of going through the pharmacies, the health unit, and essentially just having to wait so much longer than you actually have to get a COVID-19 vaccine. But at the end of the day, like I said, I want to help the community in any way I can. And at that point in time, I thought the best way was create a service. People can easily access it on social media. Essentially search up a pharmacy or look at an available place, drop everything and run to that place and get their first or second dose. And, everybody felt a lot of peace of mind when they were able to get that first and second dose. I know personally I did. Once I got that second dose, I felt huge weight come off of me, knowing that I would be safe around my loved ones, especially my grandmother. And I know a lot of people felt that too. So really providing people with that peace of mind earlier is something that makes me feel great at the end of the day.
I think a lot of us, and maybe even our viewers, we just want to really thank you for creating this and for helping your community during this difficult time. So thank you, Noah. And I'm going to move on to Rebecca. You're also really passionate about your community and being involved in the UWindsor community as well. I just want to know, since you're a student pursuing a double major in political science and French studies, along with a minor in English language and literature, how have you been able to combine your education into your passion for writing, as seen in your work, especially in The Lance and HerCampus magazine?
Hi, Susie. Thank you so much for having me. So I have to warn you, the answer is a little bit complicated because on the one hand, I can't say that my education hasn't helped me with my writing because it has. But at the same time, I've had a really complicated journey in terms of my majors and minor, and I've had a lot of doubts about my majors over time at university. So I guess rather than like a simple relationship of like contributing to helping me become the best media writer I could be, I would actually say that being part of HerCampus magazine and the Lance newspaper gave me what I felt I was missing from my program, and like really helped me figure out what I actually like and like put my finger on it like exactly, which I felt I wasn't able to do through school. Like my majors sort of touch on aspects of what I like English, French, politics. They're like adjacent to media and journalism, but like not quite it. So I guess really being a writer for these publications gave me clarity about that, and not the other way around, which is why I think it's really important to join clubs and organizations while you're in university, because I think it teaches you a lot more about yourself than classroom learning. And being able to like actually do things actively instead of like passively listening to lectures is just a lot more fulfilling in my opinion. But to like give some background, when I started university, I was actually a double major in English and French, but I ended up switching the English part of my program from a major to a minor, and I ended up taking poli-sci as my second major instead. And I tried lots of courses in lots of different fields like in between that. But I can't really say like anything like ignited a passion in me. Like I generally liked different fields, but I didn't love anything. So I realized maybe like subject matter might not matter like so much as being able to make something and like put it out into the world. Like I think I could have like been reasonably happy in any social science or humanities field. But like what really mattered to me was being able to actually create something from what I learned and like have it like and put it into a tangible thing that I could like present to people at the end of the day. And that's like what draws me to media. And it took me 5 years to figure this out. And like that's not to say that like my classroom learning has been useless, because like that's absolutely not the case. Like I've learned a lot over my time here that I can use as a writer. Like obviously I've had to read a lot for my French major and my English minor. And that obviously helps with writing, like you absorb what you read and it becomes what you write. And even if I'm not technically in a media program, writing techniques still hold across mediums, whether it's a novel or news, you're still telling a story. So a language program obviously is useful for that. Politics is also like another no-brainer if you're into journalism. Like how are you supposed to cover any kind of news without having some kind of foundation in politics? And like, how can you even learn to investigate anything unless you have some kind of background in research methods? As for French, like obviously another no-brainer if you're into Canadian politics. And I think like just speaking more generally, my general social science / humanities education has made me just really rigorous and detail-oriented and analytical as a person. And I guess just taught me more general skills, like things like how to make good arguments, like how to be able to tell when a claim is dubious, improving my general culture, and things of that nature, which are like useful skills regardless of what career you end up pursuing, and like just like in terms of being a person. So yeah, that was a little long-winded, but I hope it answers your question.
No, absolutely. And I think I'm the same way, that I have multiple interests and passions. I don't necessarily have one that I'm really, really focused on. And I think a lot of our viewers can really resonate with that. And just quickly, I want to know, with your work and with the Lance and HerCampus, what have been maybe one or two stories that have been a highlight that you've written about?
Well, actually, like the first article that I wrote for The Lance was basically talking about Discord. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's basically this chat platform that like originated as a platform for gamers, but like during the pandemic, it kind of like exploded and became this really popular thing among students. So like I really enjoyed writing that and like reaching out to people and like seeing like like trying to figure out like why Discord, like why this platform in particular has resonated so much with students and like what makes it so well adapted to community building, especially during these times when we can't like physically get together. So that was really interesting for me.
No, absolutely. I'm a big Discord person. I've used it multiple times as well. And it's a great program for our students to use and to help out with classes and things like that. And speaking of great programs that we have on campus, I want to go back to Maya now. So Maya, you're a new member of the B.IDE Institute, working as an equity specialist, making our campus safe, diverse, and equal for all. Can you just tell our viewers a bit about the program if they don't maybe know about it? And what types of initiatives do you help facilitate?
So B.IDE is brand new to the university. Here is my little shout out to Hussein and Fardoza, our two big founding members of our institute with the Student Experience Office. So the B.IDE Institute is something that we're bringing together, like you said, for diversity, equity, inclusivity, and a sense of belonging. And being the equity specialist, my hope is to bring all different types of initiatives. I'm going to self-promote our movie night, October 28th, that is on campus. That is our first big event, and I encourage you all to come out. But also different initiatives like a drop-in center where if you're feeling like you need extra help with anything on campus, or if you're looking to be included in any way or having a sense of belonging on campus, you can come to the drop-in center for more information. We're also hoping to do tons with the community, and we're also working with UWSA for that first initial event. So we're just working with the Student Experience Office to really push the inclusivity and diversity, equity, and belonging on campus. We know that it's been a crazy 2 years. We've been through a lot as community of Windsor, and we think it's time that the university finally has this own institute that we students can use to our advantage on campus.
Absolutely. And is there any way our viewers can maybe find information about you guys? Do you have any social media, things like that?
Not yet, but keep your eye peeled to the Student Experience Office. So if you're looking to follow any social media, that is the UN Student Experience accounts on Instagram, Facebook, the YouTube that we're all here on today. Keep your eyes peeled for more information, and please check out the movie night. That will be our big event of the month. So please keep your eyes open. Yeah.
Definitely. I'll for sure try to come out. That sounds awesome. All right. So thank you so much, Maya, for that. I'm going to move on to Noah. You and I are both really passionate about politics and are definitely involved with our local political institutes, things like that. And I know you were involved with the re-election campaign of Windsor Tecumseh MP Eric Kushmerchik. I just want to know, how did that passion in politics begin, and what advice would you maybe give to someone who wants to get more involved in civic and community work?
Thank you for the question. So really, as if any of you were following basically the local election campaign here in Windsor Tecumseh, you might have saw that it was a very, very, very close race. It came down to 675 votes at the end of the day. And really what it all comes down to is having those conversations with your neighbors, having those conversations in the community, going and knocking on doors, making those phone calls, and finding out what really matters to people, whether it be action on climate change, or whether it be, money for sewers, money for community organizations, especially recreation programs in Windsor Tecumseh. That's really what matters to people at the end of the day, and finding out what people really care about. And as somebody who really wants to be involved in their community more, I thought this was a great way to do it and get to know what the concerns of people in our community are. And I really learned a lot over the past 36 days the campaign ran, in knowing that people in our community truly value some of the main things that make Windsor Tecumseh great. And that's really something that pushed me as we went over, like I said, those 36 days to continue to make the phone calls, to continue to knock on doors and to continue to have those conversations. But if you're looking for advice as somebody who want to get more involved in politics, I would certainly say I know there's going to be a provincial election next year. It's going to be a very interesting election to see what happens for Ontario. So if you want to get involved, I would highly recommend getting involved with a candidate of your choice during the next provincial election campaign and really learn about the process, because regardless of what your political affiliation is, I think a lot of us get into politics to improve our community and improve our country and our province. We just have different ways of getting there. That's really how I always see it. We're all Canadian, we're all Ontarian at the end of the day. And as much as I might disagree with one party or one person, we both have the same objective of trying to make, our province and our country and our community better at the end of the day. And that's the reason I went into politics, is to really help out people who don't necessarily have a voice at the table as well. And I see somebody in the comments saying, how can I volunteer in your local campaigns? Like I said, there's going to be a provincial election campaign next year, and I believe it's going to be starting in April. So once that does start, there's going to be candidates from, I believe, all three major parties running in Essex, Windsor Tecumseh, as well as Windsor West, which is where the University of Windsor is located. I know a lot of people are located in that riding as well. So volunteer for the candidate and the party of your choice, and you're going to learn a lot about what the concerns of the community are and what you can do to be an advocate for those people who don't have a voice at the table. So that would be my 2 cents about how to get more involved in politics. And generally at the end of the day, so you live in South Windsor, that's going to be Windsor West. So volunteer for Windsor West in the next election campaign, and find a candidate and party that aligns with your values. So those are recommendations I would give.
There you go. And civic work is some of the most important work that we can do. And like you said, no, it is definitely going to be an exciting election. And thank you to those people who are in our comments. If you guys have any comments or questions for our guests, you can always leave them down below. But we have one more question actually for Rebecca. I just want to know, you're obviously an incredible writer with some great groups on our campus, but what advice would you give to maybe an aspiring writer? Any tips for getting involved with creating writing on campus?
Thanks for the question. So I think the kind of writing I do is closer to like creative nonfiction than creative writing. Like I'm more on the blog, journalism, media content side of things than creative writing, fictional story type of things. So I can't speak to the latter, but I can tell you about some media organizations on campus, like HerCampus and The Lance. So obviously I would recommend any aspiring writer to join the UWindsor chapter of HerCampus. I got involved with HerCampus in my 3rd year as a writer and social media contributor. And in my 4th year, I also took on an editing role and a co-president role, which I still have now in my 5th year, along with my lovely co-CC Abby. Shout out to Abby. But to give a quick rundown, HerCampus is basically an online magazine based in Boston with chapters at over 230 universities and colleges around the world. And all these chapters contribute content to the HerCampus website and run their own social media pages to share their content online. And HerCampus members can take on any of 3 roles. They can be a writer, editor, or social media contributor. And we also have a lovely team of execs who manage each team. Basically what writers do is they write articles for the website. That's pretty self-explanatory, but they have the full creative freedom to write about pretty much anything they want, unless we have a theme week, which we have a few of per semester. So we have writers that write about things like news and social justice. Others write about entertainment and TV and books. Others just write about their personal experiences that they've had. So we have a really great variety of content, and it's because we let our writers explore whatever topics they want. And I think also even the editor and social media roles could be beneficial to aspiring writers, because a lot of our writers are also editors, and that basically allows them to kind of peer review each other's work and connect with each other through editing and learn from that. So I think having an editor role is also pretty beneficial for a writer. as well as is like social media. Like really, it's just another like medium to tell your stories through. So just as beneficial for a writer, I think. One thing I don't think most people quite realize about our club is like the community aspect of it. Like, yes, we're a magazine/media club, but the club is also like very community focused, and the way it's structured allows you to make friends and like really deep connections with people. Like, for example, we have like a very active Discord group where people can talk about literally anything. It doesn't have to be related to the club. And we also have like regular team bonding events where we can just do fun things together and like get to know each other better. So it's a lot more than just a magazine, I think. Like I've made most of my friends from this club, and my university experience would not have been the same without it. So I guess it's not technically advice for writers specifically, but I think if you're just any kind of creative, it's important to find like your people or your community. And I guess that's what HerCampus helped me find, and why I would recommend it to writers as well.
That's great. And is there, we have one comment down here. Is there maybe a Facebook page or some social media that we can connect our viewers with?
Yeah, we have a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. If you look up just HerCampus at UWindsor, it should come up. So yeah, follow us on all our socials. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. No, I've definitely seen many articles written by HerCampus and The Lance, and it's incredible how over time there's been an evolution with the writing, and it's been really incredible to see. And thank you again for everyone who's involved in the comment section over here. We have a final question, I think, from Bardoza wants to ask Mia, how can students get involved with Welcome Week? Today is UWindsor Day, and I think it's maybe fitting to ask that because you're so involved with Welcome Week. So maybe Mia, you want to take that one?
Yeah, so Welcome Week, I started off as a student in Welcome Week, like you said, Susie, and then I jumped to being a volunteer, which if you're interested in volunteering throughout Welcome Week, the application usually comes out in the winter term to be a volunteer or a faculty leader. And if that's something you're interested in, it's on the UWindsor website under the Student Success and Leadership Office. So you can head there and you can fill out the form to become a faculty leader or a volunteer. I was very grateful to be reached out through the IGNITE program for a summer job. Like Susie mentioned, the Welcome Week events coordinator. And if you're interested in that aspect where you'll be working throughout the summer along a small team, about 8 students or so, to plan Head Start, Welcome Week, and all the different orientations that happen in the summer, that is through the IGNITE program and You're My Success. Those applications usually come out in the beginning of March, so keep your eyes open for that as well. If you have any further questions, though, the Student Success and Leadership Office is always looking for people to ask questions and get more people involved. I have to say this past summer was one of the best experiences. I mean, we were online and I was doing it from home, but I still made 8 amazing new friends that we actually all got to finally sit out on a patio for dinner together for the first time. And it was so, so wonderful to just be around the community that I spent the past 4 months working with online. So I really encourage you all to get involved. It's an awesome week. It goes in the blink of an eye. And it is the perfect day to kind of talk about it because our school spirit and everything our school stands for is shown through Welcome Week. Thank you
Absolutely.
for that question.
No, and yeah, thank you, Bardoza. And yeah, shout out to the IGNITE program. My position is also funded by IGNITE. So there are so many incredible ways to get involved with that. And of course, you can check out My Success for all of that information. So that actually concludes today's episode. I want to thank everyone for joining us on today's UWindsor Day special of the Windsor Wednesday Show. As always, you can find the full-length episodes on Facebook and YouTube. I just want to remind everyone that it is reading week, so we will be taking a short break from the Windsor Wednesday Show, but we will be back on Wednesday, October the 20th. Of course, if you enjoyed today's show and are interested in being a guest, you can send an email to myself or to studentexperience@uwindsor.ca. I want to thank again our wonderful guests today, and we'll see you all right here back in 2 weeks on the Windsor Wednesday Show. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.